You know, there are times, welcome back to the Atmospheric Cafeteria, where I was directed before I could give anybody yogurt and cookie. Thank God I got the dishes done to do a reading. And I'm sitting here and I'm chit chatting with Spirit, and they're like, "You need to record." And I'm like, "Yes, I do." But in the process, before I had to do that, we have to have a little of the you know what. Because I'm 53 and I get to. Remember that. You're grown up. So I'm just sitting here and we're having this chit chat back and forth, and I'm thinking, because when you're clairvoyant, you listen to different people, different clairvoyants and readers and whatnot, and you basically, I was telling them, I do watch these things. I don't mimic anyone, even though I can mimic a lot of things. I don't, because I, like to know. There's that scene. The, this is so autistic of me. There's that scene in Runaway Bride. Spoilers for anybody who has yet to see Runaway Bride, but I do give them because some people haven't gotten there, and you might want to see that movie. You might want to skip over what I'm about to say, which then just go and watch the movie, because then you will need to. If you're here and you haven't seen Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, and and uh, and you're pausing this and going over to the rest of this because, oh my God, Spirit's saying yeah, and because you haven't seen it yet and you don't want the spoilers, let me tell you something. Don't watch me. Go watch the movie. Go watch that movie and then come back to whatever it is I'm about to say, because I don't fully have it written down. Oh, they are giggling all as heck up here. There's been a big lack of sleep lately. In the past 3 days, I've gotten 8 hours sleep instead of 4 hours sleep. Thank the baby Ebus. So, so yeah. If you have not seen that movie, go watch that movie. I'm gonna write that down. Runaway Bride. Runaway. So the point of Runaway Bride is that she goes from fiance to fiance to fiance, and it has now become this world record. And at some point, she says to him, Richard Gere, I don't even know what kind of eggs I like, because every single time I meet a guy, I make the eggs the way he does, and that's how I like it. So he's like, well, what kind of eggs do you like? And she doesn't know. So by the end of this movie, she's made every single kind of egg that she knows how to make, and whatever other ones she doesn't. And she sits there and she has every single plate of eggs, and she makes the decision. Wow, this feels so powerful right now. No wonder the elephant. I wrote down elephant. May. I don't. M-A-E. How I spell my middle name. May. M-A-E. It's actually my nickname. What that has anything to do with, but elephant came down. And so at the end of this movie, like, how can you know which guy you like if you don't even know what kind of eggs you like if you don't know what kind of eggs you like, you don't know who you are. Like I know I like eggs. I know that, like if you, like, one of my favorite YouTube cook shows is Glenn and Friends. Oh my God, I love him so much. He's so got me through. Glenn and Julie got me through COVID. Let's admit that. I love them. And I love the way he talks, the way he cooks. He's so informative and interesting. I learn so much from these people. I love them. Go check them out. And hold on one second. Now, Glenn likes raw egg. He can eat raw egg. And I look at that and I'm like, ew, that's so gross. But then I have to remember that some people like that. And some people just aren't grossed out by it. The fact of the matter is, I was eating brownie batter one day and part of the egg wasn't all the way in, and I was grossed out. Maybe if I had been introduced to raw egg in a different way, it would have been different. And before you're all freaking out, you can eat raw egg. They are now pasteurized. Also, it was in the 80s that we were having problems because people weren't refrigerating them. And you have to remember, if you're eating a fresh hen's egg, you don't wash it off because there's a coating that goes over it that keeps all the bacteria out of it. That's why it's safe in other countries to eat raw eggs, and that's why in the United States we should promote getting used to having yucky looking eggs. Now, are they going to have eggs that have full-on poop on them? No, you do fleck off some of it, but you do it carefully so that that coating still lays on there. I have a friend who she has so many chickies, and she told me that, and when she told me that, I was like, oh, and she's like, yeah, they last longer like that, and you can have them out. Now, I don't like homegrown eggs because I don't like the gamey taste, but but that's why. And I have to remember those things because not everybody does everything the same exact way that I do. Everybody does everything differently, right? So I'm sitting here, and that's the thing with Runaway Bride, is you have to find out what you like. You can't just go with what the crowd does. You have to find out what works. Wow, this all makes sense why Spirit's like, yeah, girl, you need to start like recording. And you can't just do everything everybody else likes. You have to do what you like. You have to find out what kind of eggs you like. And I think about that scene often. I think, what kind of eggs do I like? What kind of thing do I like? Like, I'm a cosmetologist. With my hair, what exact color do I like my hair? I like purple. I love it when my hair is purple. Or when it's just a darker brown, which is my natural color. So now I have like a darkish brown purple that turns into strawberry. I love it. So, you have to find out those things that you like. And at the time that I was thinking about this, I was thinking about how I do watch other tarot readers, and I'm inspired by a lot of them. And when I watch them, I realize, oh my God, I do that. That's exactly what I do. I just didn't know what it was. I didn't know. I mean, come on. I'm sitting there. Okay, who does this? Can someone tell me? I feel like this might be a witch workbook. Is this a witch workbook? Is this a witch wake book? I think they're telling me number 3. Why would this be witch workbook number 3 when I don't think we've actually put out number 2? And oh my God, I'm speaking so fast. It's like one spirit talking to another spirit because I'm like looking up like, what the fuck? Oh, that's funny. But so I was saying, and I know that some people will say, oh, I'm not just this, I'm not just that, I do so much more. And I was sitting there and I was about to say something, and Spirit's like, no, you need to record this. And what I was gonna say to Spirit was, it's not just, it's that you do what fits for you. So I'm a clairvoyant, I'm a tarot reader, I can sit here and doodle and read my doodles. I can scry in the mirror. I do not have mirrors around my house because I can scry in them. I have a grapevine outside of my window that I'm looking at right now, and I scry in him all the time. It's massive, this grapevine. Everybody has their way. Nobody is just a tarot reader. Nobody is just a scryer. As a cosmetologist, every single time I hear people say, I'm a color specialist, what, you're just a color specialist? No, you're a cosmetologist. You encompass it all. You're not just a color specialist. You're a perm specialist. You're a wax specialist. You can give facials. You can do hair. You're doing everything because you can't just do one thing. You have to do them all. And you don't have to do them all perfectly. I mean, your strength may be color, but that doesn't make you a specialist. Oh, this leads me to Jack of all trades, master of none. Oh, I'm so glad they wrote that. That made me write that down. That was one of the things that I always say about cosmetologists is Jack of all trades, master of none. It doesn't mean that you didn't learn anything. I mean, most people take that to mean, oh, you tried all of this stuff and you never learned. No, you learned how to do all this stuff. You learned how to do the perms. You learned how to do the highlights. You learned how to do the highlight root retouch, which is a thing, which if you're a stylist with OCD, that can be difficult to do because it will drive your OCD crazy. But remember, at the end, the illusion is beautiful and it all looks blended in and you can't tell a goddamn thing. So go with, trust me, please trust me. And if you ever have questions, send me an email and I will send you a message back and we can talk hairdresser. Because I've been doing this for 25 years. So, and I know what I love and I know my strengths and weaknesses and I know the things that I have to do more of. But that's what you do when you learn it all, or you learn what is attracted to you. And now when you're a cosmetologist, you do need to learn how to do a perm, because eventually someone's going to walk in and you're going to need to do that perm. You don't have to be the best, but you do have to know what you're doing. You do have to know that just because she's 90 years old, it doesn't mean she needs the strongest perm. It means we need to look at her hair and see, is her hair fine or is her hair, you know, tough? Because I've had little old ladies with hair that does not perm, okay? And I've had to use stronger perms. And I've had ladies with really fine hair that, you know, you just look at it, you just put the perm bottle over it and it's, you know, fried. So, you know what I'm saying. Oh, I'm putting my socks back on because now I'm getting cold. Oh, there's so much spirit here tonight. So yeah, they're like, so that's what I always say, you know, I mean, a jack of all trades and a master of none. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you never completed anything. For me, and this is how I personally take it, it means that you have completed stuff. You have done this and you have learned and you became a master knowing that you weren't the best, which meant that you're able to learn from other people. So when you go to learn this over here, like I also knit and crochet. So when I learned how to crochet, I learned how to crochet. Now, I am not the master of crochet, but I know what I'm doing. I have another friend that is the master of crochet, and my God, can I just tell you, she's just a goddess. But knitting, I'm not great at, but I'm pretty good at. Jack of all trades, master of none. I'm a jack of all trades with this. I know how to do these things. Have I mastered them? No. But the things I have mastered, I know I still can learn more from. You know what I'm saying? Like, that way, when you do become the master, you know, because eventually all of the people that you can learn from are going to die out. They're going to retire and not want to talk about hair anymore. Trust me, they will. And you have to be the one to realize that now you are the master of all of this. You are the master of all of this different stuff. And it's going to be everybody else coming to you for the advice. So it's important for you, as you're giving advice, to think about what you're saying and make sure that not only is what you're saying right, fair, and just, but are you listening to the person in front of you and the question that they're asking? And not only that, take time to learn from your students, because your students will give you new information that will help you grow and learn. And then you can bring this information back to the masters that you know, and they can bring that back to their students. And that's how it grows, Spirit said. That's how this information grows. That's how you learn and grow. Oh, you know, that is interesting. That reminds me of a doodle I did. Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely freezing right now. And that's just the fake fire on the thingy. So, oh my God. I was like hot when I started, and now I'm like, I feel like the burrs are on. God, I'm so glad I didn't open up the door. Something's like, no, don't open up the door. Like, are you sure? I lit 5 sticks of incense. And it's like, no. I'm like, all right. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I got some coffee now. Oh, let me show you that doodle I diddles. Doodles I diddles. I do a lot of doodles. A lot of doodles. This one, it says, where are you going? Do you have a place, or is there no safe place where you, ow, reminds me of a citadel. Where are you going? Do you have a place, or is there no safe space? Where are you going? Okay, that's the bottom doodle. This top doodle. What I was saying earlier reminded me of that. The jack of all trades, master of none. you know, you're going around, you're going to each little block, you're going to each little building, and you're looking. And I can't believe I'm actually reading my own doodle right now. I'm like fucking floored, excuse my language. Like, I am actually about ready to cry that I am reading my doodle. You know, you're coming in, you're going out, you're going here, you're going there, and you know, you're learning, and then you go and you come down and you learn, and then you come back again, and you just keep doing this until eventually you're the one that's living here. And you're the one that has access to these tunnels down in here and whatever that is, you know? I mean, you're the one that access. And what's important is that you share all of this information with the people around you, and that you listen to these people so you can add the new information here. So that when the people who are going around and around and around are finally living here in the big cathedral, they will have all the mana. They will have all of, I'm so overcome with emotion right now. Like, something is like, we're so proud of you reading your own doodle. Ah! They're just disgusting. I love my spirit guides, but let's face it, it's my father's mother, my abuelita. It's the tres los abuelitas, which are basically just the three fates, and then there's some other Mexican auntie over here, and they're just like, oh. Does anybody else have overexcited Mexican aunties? Like, mine are all in spirit form because I've never actually met mine. But, like, these women are crazy. Oh, they're wonderful, but damn it all. Anyway, their pride is up, they say. Our pride is up. Yeah. Oh, my God. They're crazy. But yeah, you know, because you have to take in that information. You've always got to keep growing and learning, and you're always gonna like learn your own ways to do stuff. So, you know, nobody's just a tarot reader. You know, for some people, you may only use tarot. And you may only use one deck because you're never drawn to another deck, and you channel through this tarot, and you do the tarot to confirm and whatnot, and those are your readings. Or like with me, my whole entire life, patterned wallpaper is just living hell. Mirrors. Anything shiny, reflective. The stones on my altar in front of me. Why did I say that? Oh, no. My grapevines. What are we seeing in the grapevines today? Oh, I see the wheel from the tarot. And it's saying, I'm putting everybody who is listening to this on top of the wheel for a moment so you can see the perspective in your life, because that is where you need to be. Because as I look up, it shows me that you need to reflect on these things. These things are really important to reflect on, because it's the reflection of these things in your life that help you grow and change and succeed. You know, it's what helps you live your life in a more peaceful and purposeful manner. Opened right to the page, creeping my own self out more than one time, and did it more than one time. That moment when you said it and you have no idea what you just said, so whoever that was for, good luck for you. All my life, though. All my life. And we all have those things, you know. Some people, you know, read clouds. There is nothing more distracting than driving down the road and all of a sudden there are these clouds and they look like fire-breathing dragons. I have pictures of them. And then all of a sudden there's like an archangel on top of it, and you're like, motherfucker, are you fucking kidding me? And then there's another dragon coming down. There was like this whole dragon cloud war thing going on. I don't know. I know that any clairvoyant watching this will understand exactly what I was saying about last summer and clouds looking like dragons. And what I like about this scrying too is that it's also picking up any, it's a window in between, so it's like a double scry. But you have to find your own surface. You have to find your own surface to walk on. And every sign has one. I mean, you can walk on air, you can walk on fire, you can walk on water, and you can walk on the earth. And don't forget, you can walk on the earth, but you can still cry and make mud. And you can sink yourself in there. You can walk on the water, but you can forget and realize gravity is there and plunk right down in. You can walk on fire, but you can forget to put your asbestos feet on. And you can walk on air, but the problem with air signs, and I say this as an air sign, even though we can walk on air, we're not always on the ground, we're not always grounded. Sometimes we're very much so thrown up in the air. So I know for myself as an Aquarius, I like to be tethered, but don't tell me that you're tethering me down, you know? And it's only someone I truly love that can truly bring me down to earth. And, you know, not that I can't ground myself, but they're the ones that can go, oh, yeah, hey, you're stupid. And I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, you're right. And that's growth, to be able to sit there and realize, oh, yeah, you're right, you are. So, yeah, as I was saying in the beginning, every person has their way of doing things. Every tarot reader has their things. Runes, I just heard runes. Some people have runes. Some people have ink blots. Some people make their own. I have my doodles I was reading, and I was reading my grapevines. You know, I have a few things that are patterns. The bathroom floor. Oh my God, my kitchen, and my last coffee scry, the kitchen countertop. So yeah, everybody has their way, and everybody has the thing that they need to do in their life. They master. You know, because as I was saying, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. You're always growing. You're always learning. There are going to be things that you master, but part of being the master is understanding that even though I know how to do it, even though I've been a cosmetologist for 25 years, it doesn't mean I can't learn from someone else. Now, remember, they're reminding me to remember, because in cosmetology, one of the things about being a hairdresser is, and especially back in the old days, and this is why nobody can be a color specialist, is there would be the women who would just do the little old ladies. You know, you got your roller sets and your perms. Well, let me tell you, I'm going to do a top-notch perm, right? And that's all right. That's perfectly fine, right? That's perfectly fine. But if you also don't learn how to do foils, if you don't learn how to do foil highlights, you're not going to grow and learn. Because a lot of times, when you become a cosmetologist and you're doing it for a certain amount of time, and especially back in the day, like I've been doing this 26 years now. And when I started, roller sets, like the little old ladies would have, like, this was the schedule book. The schedule book was, every little old lady had their stylist, or whoever they just wanted to go to, whatever. And you would have once a week would be a shampoo and set. Every 3 months is a perm, and every probably every 4 weeks is a haircut, and then every 6 weeks is a color. So sometimes they would wait that 6 weeks and go the color. Sometimes, you know, you do the color for week 5. It just depended what each stylist wanted to do and how that person's hair grows, because everybody's hair grows differently. It just all kind of depends. And that was the schedule. This was the schedule, okay? And if this is what your schedule is, in that column, okay, every single day, and you have LO, because we call them LOLs. That's why I think LOL for laugh out loud is fucking hysterical. Okay, I think it is the funniest goddamn fucking thing, because as a hairdresser, I see LOL and I think little old lady. Because back then, I'm 53 now, the ladies that were 53 were all getting their hair sets, okay? Those little old ladies are gone now. They're 53, 63, 73. almost 80 years old. These are little old ladies that are either in the nursing home or they're doing something else, okay? And not only that, but there became a point, and actually that might be it too at this point, is there became a point where there was a great change, and this is why growth is important, where the people getting the shampoo sets, this schedule stopped because they aged out. Times changed and they aged out. So when I started 26 years ago, the people who were 53, 63, 73, 79, so these people will be like around 79, 80 years old now. At some point, they either never did the roller set thing and did the curling iron thing, or they made the choice to stop. Like, and that's the thing. When this change happened, these hairdressers that just did their roller sets, perms, haircuts, and colors, they could still do everything, but they didn't know how to do foils. They didn't know how to weave a foil. They didn't know how to do a foil weave root retouch. They didn't know how, you know, they knew how to pull through the cap, which, tell you that, ladies, tell you that. Talk about bringing the old in with the young, okay? That's a big thing. Like, at my age, I can look at you and say whether or not you should have a foil, a cap, a balayage, or an ombre. I'm not a color specialist. I encompass it all. I am a cosmetologist. And there's a reason why I would do each one. An absolute reason. Like, if you're a redhead and you are starting to blonde, which when redhead's blonde, it's like when brunette's gray, because really it's just white hair, and when it mixes in, it looks gray because it's salt and pepper. And with redheads, it looks blonde. They might come in and want it to look a little bit more natural. So what you would do is you would pull it through a cap and then make it a little bit more blonder. And then when you take this cap off, it looks sun-kissed. It looks natural. When you use a foil, it's more placed. They both have their purpose. They're both good. But if you're this person and you only have this little old lady LOL schedule and you can't traverse that as you grow, and you didn't learn, you didn't change, and when it came up, you stopped and you went, well, I'm not going to learn how to do that. You're going to lose your clientele. You're not going to have anything. Because you didn't choose to change and learn and grow. You know, you became the master at one thing, and you taught a whole bunch of other people. And when these other people came to teach you, you didn't learn. You balked. You didn't do anything. You didn't grow. Am I really good at ombre? Yes, I really love ombre. Ombre is fun. Am I good at balayage? No. Damn it all. Fuck. I'm not good at it. Have I given up trying? Not at all. Because the point with balayage is you have to be able to paint on the color with a brush, okay? I've been doing hair for 26 years. I have been watching people. I have been watching cosmetologist after cosmetologist, literally people take a slice of hair and just take the brush and go paint, 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 and just lay it down. Take the next one, paint, 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 paint. Never put anything over it. They air process, they rinse them off. It's like there's nothing. There's no holiday spots. There's no leopard printing, which is when it looks spotty because it bleeds. No bleeding at all. It's fucking phenomenal. I am fucking impressed. 26 years, I can't do it. But I try because I have regulars, and in the middle of their hair, in the places where you can't see, I will take this and with a foil, because I know it will bleed, I paint the areas carefully that I want to practice on. So it doesn't work. I mean, not that it bleeds all over. It doesn't look bad. And obviously, I've told my client I'm doing this because I believe in telling your clients everything. Well, let's face it. Sometimes you have to add a little red to a blonde, and you don't tell them because you know they'll lose their mind. But you know, if you don't add this tiny little bit of orange, this tiny little bit of whatever it is you need, they're going to go green. And you know they're going to lose it more if they go green. Been there, done that. It's not lying. It's just you know the chemistry of what you need to do. And if you tell your client, they're going to lose their mind because they don't understand it. And that's, you know, that's another point too, Spirit, is understanding that sometimes other people don't understand things. It's like when you're a doctor and you're talking and you're like, my mom's a nurse. I understand what they're saying. Not everybody does. But doctors and nurses forget that because they talk it all day long. So, you know. It's like talking Italian all day long in your house and then going to school and having to sit there and listen to English when you just mostly know Italian. And actually, that's a true story that happened to my friend. It used to happen a lot growing up. Her parents were like, no, you guys got, her teachers were like, no, you guys got to start talking English at home. And that's funny, I have the movie Yours, Mine, and Ours out. Learning, changing, and growing and coming together. The OG one. And the book is called, I think it's called With 12 You Get Drumstick or something. No, Who Gets the Drumstick? It's called Who Gets the Drumstick by Helen Beardsley. Oh, I love that book. If you want a good inspirational book that is not religious, that is not stupid, that is about two beautiful families coming together and loving each other, Who Gets the Drumstick by Helen Beardsley is phenomenal. And that's what this movie is based on. And the book and the movie are different. But if you've read the book, then you see the movie, you kind of understand why everybody's upset. And, oh my God, you can't just replace our mother. That makes so much sense. Okay, so spoilers, if you haven't read the book, I'm going to tell everybody about the book. So in the book, basically, it's the same premise as here. I haven't watched the new one because I heard someone say that the kids are trying to split them up and then they have to try to get them back together. And I hate that principle because it's so gaslighty. Like I get it if you know, I'm a single parented only child. And I always knew if my mom brought someone home, if I didn't like him, I better have a good reason. Because I don't have to get along with him to see he's treating my mom the way she deserves to be treated. He and I don't have to have the same values. We just have to have the same want for my mom. Because, like, he can be a religious person, and I'm religious, but not, my religion is all-encompassing. And if my mom were to meet someone like that, he might not like my views on that stuff, but if he's just like a regular Roman Catholic, obviously, and I can see that, no, he just really does love my mom, and he's being really great to her, I'm going to concede. I'm going to make him feel more comfortable, because I see he's a good guy who loves my mom. I can give a little bit, and hopefully in that giving he can give too, and I don't know who that was for, but there you go. And that was always my thought, was I didn't have to get along with him. He just had to love my mom like I did, right? But I always knew too that if I went up to my mom and said, listen, I just don't like this action, and this action, she was going to listen. Because why am I going to bother lying to my mother? I mean, how many really? So in the original book, one of the funny parts is that when he meets her, there's this realization that she looks almost identical to his former wife who passed away. So in the movie, when the girls scream, you can't just replace our mother like this. You know, that's big when you've read the book and you realize, you know, that's true too, Spirit. Reading the book and the movie sometimes can really pull the book and the movie together in a really special, beautiful way. It really can. Practical magic. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good example, yep. So it makes that scene in the movie more important because if you've read the book, you realize, oh, she looks exactly like their mom. And now they're in the movie saying, you can't just replace our mother. And because to go through, oh my God, she looks just like mom, it's going to take way too long. So you got to shorten stuff for movie. And that's exactly, because that's exactly, sometimes when you're watching the movie and the book, sometimes, you know, they have to change things. Like Practical Magic is one of my absolute favorite books. Ah, shipping news too. Thank you, Spirit. But Practical Magic is one of my absolute favorite movies. It is one of my absolute favorite books. The way that they changed the book and the way that they changed the movie, they didn't take anything away from the book. They didn't take anything away from the movie. And when you watch them both together, it's like you get this even bigger, broader picture of beautifulness. Like, I really wish they would do a mini series of the book. I really and truly wish they would. Especially because there's so much Jillian. And her hair. I won't say anything else. Just go read the book. Or listen to the book. Listen to the book. If you struggle to read, listen to the book. Listening is knowledge as well. And listening is reading. You're still using your imagination. You're using your senses. You're doing stuff around your house. You got a book as a body double, baby. The Shipping News is another good one where if you read the book and then you watch the movie, or either or, because both of those are movies that you don't have to read one before the other. It just gives you it just rounds everything out, you know. And you know what? Doesn't that bring us back to Yours, Mine, and Ours? Yours, Mine, and Ours is an all-encompassing thing, isn't it? I mean, at the end of that movie, he says to her, why would you guys at your age want to have a baby? And she looks at him and says, because he's never going to have to ask, who is he? He's just going to know he's a Beardsley. Which is one of the most beautiful points of that movie. Now, in the book, when they find out she's pregnant, everybody is ecstatic and excited. They welcomed her in with full arms in the book. It is seriously one of the most beautiful books I've ever read in my whole entire life. Thank you. You're welcome. Oh, I like you too. Hi. Aw. When spirits run into thank you for liking their book. Bye. Wow, that was a rush. I do enjoy my clairvoyance. But that's such an important thing, and that brings us back to Jack of all trade and master of none, which is, you know, it's that roundness, you know, yours, mine, and ours, Jack of all trade, master of none. Even though, you know, you are the master, you've been doing this longer, you can always learn, because if you learn from the younger, then as you grow or something that you're doing in the world fades out, you have this new path forward. Because like I was saying, hairdressers who never learned how to do foil highlights, they're not having a successful path forward because there's no place for them to go. There's no more roller sets to do. There's no more perms to do. And we all know that long hair, unless you're going to do a boomerang rod perm, isn't going to hold it for big curls. Oh my God, that stage of the thousands was terrible. I had to explain that a million times. But that's okay, because they learned. They learned. And sometimes they were like, listen, do it anyway. And I would be like, all right, it's not going to do anything. But the reason why they have the big rods is so that if your hair is fine or thin, you put them in the big rods, and what that does, and you perm it in those, and what that does is it gives you, if your hair doesn't hold a curl, it allows it to hold a curl, and if your hair is very fine and limp, it allows your hair to have this little bit of extra body. It's not a lot, but it's just enough so that your hair isn't laying straight flat to it. It's actually the reason why I like to keep my hair colored. My hair is graying, but I like to keep it colored because I don't like the feel of my natural hair. And it's the same principle with doing like a large rod perm. You know, sometimes that's why people do like peach and purple rod perms, or orange rod perms. They get that little bit of curl or that little bit of wave, and then they can straighten it out so it gives them more body. And still, I have so much to learn in this world. every day. Because if you don't learn, you don't grow. Knowledge is power. How you learn matters. What you learn from matters. You know, if you're learning from something and it doesn't seem quite right, excuse me, pardon me, look it up. Like, ooh, that's a burp clearing right there. Somebody needed that clearing right there. So, that was a distraction. Thank you, Spirit. Well, I don't know what that means, so why are you telling me that in here? Ooh, hi, Body Rock. You see, this is why I don't mask who I am out in public. I mask so much. I mask talking to spirits in public. I mean, it's lock me up. Oh, something just crawled across the table. I don't know what it was. It wasn't actually anything. It was just a little spirit, whatever. Your twin is here. I don't know what that is. I don't think that's, I don't just take that as it resonates. Soul resonates. So yeah, like I've been doing this a long time. And you know, it was from observing other hairdressers. Spirit, what is this feeling? Someone is flying to you. But we'll see what happens, won't we? That is not for the collective. But I said it, because you never know whose soul it's going to resonate with. Remember, you never force people to be in relationships. That's just a dick move. Always. Because you can only be who you're going to be. But, you know, there was another one I did about change too. And I just got that song by David Bowie, Change. Cross necklace might be important to someone. Or like a you know those old doily collars that might have like a little cross on it, or this might even be like something you might put on a table that might have a little cross, but it's like handmade and it's a doily. That might be important to someone. See, everybody has their own way of reading, their own way of doing things. You know, the best thing I was ever taught as a cosmetologist, the first thing my friend said to me was, Martha, do what's in your gut. If your gut says to do it, because only you know. And then when I knew what I was doing and she came over to try to do it for me, and I had to look at her and say, and she got mad at me. She got good, hot, and mad at me for a good couple of months, and so did one of her clients. But that's what she said. She said to me, she goes, Martha, you have to do, it was like the first month I was a cosmetologist. This woman looks at me and says, you've got to do what's in your gut. Because we can sit here and give you the information, but if you think you should fill that person's hair because they just seem a little too blonde to you, you do it. Because if you don't, she's going to have green hair. So, you know, if it's a little extra red, she's probably going to forgive you if you explain that, you know, you don't want it to be green, because you should always explain to your clients. Obviously, if people are terrified of red hair, you know, wheef. You know, that's when you just don't tell them that. Because you do, on some level, need a little bit of gold in your hair, unless that person is looking for that greeny, ashy tone. That is a thing. That is perfectly fine. But the majority of people aren't, so you do usually need to get that nice neutral tone, a little bit of gold, a little bit of something, you know, orange, red, gold, or whatever. But some people, they want that neutral tone, but they don't want to see any gold. But their eyes, when they look in that mirror, all they see is gold. And that could be your salon lighting, that could be their house lighting, that could be whatever, because maybe they have a more warmer tone light in their house, and then that warmer tone makes their hair have a slight, you know, cast to it. That's why I always bring people outside so they can see it in the natural sunlight. Because once you can see it in the natural sunlight, when you go home and look in your own mirror, you'll be like, yeah, it looks normal in the sunlight she showed me. It's like giving people knowledge and informing them so that they can understand what's going on in the mechanics of lights and contrast and color and whatnot, right? Because if I don't tell them, they don't know. And if I don't educate my hairdressers, they're not going to know. This is something, isn't it? How long have we been going for? We've been going a good 46 minutes. So, yeah. When you're doing a reading and something is poking in about your own life, and you're just like, So yeah, this doily looks handmade. I also see like a blue dress with it, but then that might be just a random thing I see as the blue dress with it. But I like this. It's got a cross in it, and it's a doily cross. Like, I'm hearing First Communion. This might have been something that was put around the collar at someone's First Communion. Somebody might have been buried with something like that too. But this, I see a First Communion dress, and I see this like this lace doily over the front, not lace doily, but this lace piece over the front with the cross on it, and a little girl wearing it down to make her First Communion. So yeah, everybody does things at their own time. Everybody does things at their own pace. You know, we all learn as we go. I'm trying to figure out if Spirit has anything else I'd like to say. In that channel, the song I Did It My Way by Frank Sinatra, because that's true. You got to do it your way. You've just got to learn, change, and grow. You've just got to look at new information, figure out if you need to apply it. Or another great example is, I do not like Pam Cook spray. I don't like it unless I'm making a pan of brownies. If I'm making cake, I butter and do that with my cake, butter and flour. But not with brownies, and not with muffins, and I can't stand muffin tins. So, you know, you've got to know the things that you like. And if you know that you don't like muffin tins, like I don't like muffin tins. I mean, I like the muffin tins, but I don't like the muffin cups. Wait. I like my muffin pans. I do not like the muffin sleeves. I am blanking on what the hell. Somehow I can't even get muffin cups to sound right in my head. Like, I want to say what is the Australian? Pipettes? Pipettes? No, pipettes. I don't know where that's coming from, but that's all right. can't stand them. Just like, they're just such a waste. So I just like, and of course I can't actually frost cupcakes. So if I'm putting cake into a muffin tin, you better bet it's going to be overflowing, so it's like a big giant chocolate chip cupcake. So, but even those, like, I just put them in an airtight container. You have to know that you're unwilling to deal with that. You have to know that about yourself, especially if you're neurodivergent. You have to understand that, listen, I'm willing to stretch myself here, but right here, this is a no-go. Sorry, I don't do that. And the only problem is when you know that you actually have to and you're the only one that can force yourself to do it. That stinks. But, yes, exactly. I'm looking at the edges of my coffee cup, and it looks like a little car driving into like a brick wall or something else. And it's like, yeah, you have to like when you're neurodivergent and you know you have to do something and you know it's for your bestest and highest good, you will literally, it's like driving a car into a wall. You're like, go fuck yourself. So you drive, basically just rather you start the car, it looks like you're going towards the wall, and you just veer off and go down the street. And that's exactly what it looked like in my coffee. We all scry how we are. We are all clairvoyants how we are. Some people get their majority of their information through tarot. Some people look at a pattern and scry over that. I've been sitting here with a notebook. We all do it our own way. And when we watch other tarot readers, not only can they inspire us and help show us something new that maybe we want to try, but they can also show us that what we're doing is normal. That like, there's a very particular one, and I was watching her, and I realized, oh shit, that's what I do all the time. Every tiled bathroom floor in every single mall I've ever been in, I scry in it, and I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, yep. That's what I do in my notebooks when I'm sitting here all day long, writing in my notebooks and scrying and And it brings you that realization of, A, you're now out of the pocket and you understand what you're doing, so it brings a broader light to it so you can see even more of it. And B, it makes you feel, excuse me, ooh, somebody needed to hear this and say this. Ooh. Excuse my, pardon me. Throat chakra is clearing for someone. But it also allows you to believe more in yourself. Because you're looking at this going, okay, I'm not crazy. I can't have patterned wallpaper in my house because I will scry in it constantly. Now my kitchen is fine. It's lovely, it's gold, it's pretty, it's whatever. And it's, the whole kitchen itself has its own rules, boundaries, and limitations. But yeah, we all do that. No one is just a tarot reader. No one is just a psychic. No one is just a medium. No one is just a rune seer. They say we all encompass different talents. I'm told to show you, wrong side. Wrong side again. Oh, see? You can always have, I'll have wrong side. Okay, this little angel is not the best, okay? She looks a little creepy. Hold on. Me, just kind of, there we go. This smells a little bit better though. These are just doodles so I can draw them up bigger. This little angel right here I'm being told to show you. This little cloud is too poop to pop. So this little angel came by to help them succeed and fly. many doodles. So many doodles. I think that's going to be one of my next ones I draw. Yeah, we all have the way that we do things, and not any one thing is right. Like this little cloud, he's doing fine. He's too poop to pop, so this little angel has to come along and help him. And we have to remember, like I said before, we're all going to see, learn, and grow. Some people just stay at tarot cards. Some people just stay at doodling. Some people stay at just a lot of different things, and that works for them. I was watching someone the other day who I sub to. Not remember who he is off the top of my head. He uses Pokemon cards. And I was like, huh? And then I stopped myself and went, wait a minute. That makes so much sense. If you're clairvoyant, holy shit, you're going to see it in Pokemon cards. And it made exactly, and if you understand Pokemon cards, you're going to understand the meaning of why they resonate with people's soul. Ooh. Who is he? Hold on. I'm going to check. I'll have to find it later, and I'll have to link it. Oh, Maisol, Maisol. He was really good and very highly insightful. A lot of nice spirits around him. Maisol. My soul. So why did you want me to pull this one out, Spirit? It's not just because you like my doodles, which I know you love my doodles, don't ever get me wrong. Because the spirits have me doodling, I know. They're freaking hysterical, let me tell you what. Hysterical. Oh, every time I say that, I remember something one of my clients once said to me, which is, do you know the etymology of that word? And I'm like, and they're like, hysteria. Hysteria, hysterectomy, hysterical, derives from the name of a woman's uterus, and it was used against her to say she was crazy, and that's why they have the word hysteria. Granted, up until the 60s, they thought that our uterus could run around our faces and make us cry. Granted, it had almost fallen out of favor, but there were still the select few that we can say up into the 60s. As of the 70s, everybody knew. But yeah, that, I don't know why I just thought of that or who needed to hear that. I try not to say hysterical all the time, or at least use it in a proper, I don't know if it really is. But you know, that's one of those things too, is that's true too. There was something I was going to say earlier about words and knowing meanings. I don't remember what it was, but I was listening to someone one time, and basically what it said is if there's a really rotten person who you don't like their stance on something, but you like something they say every once in a while, the question is would you like them if they wore a white hood? Would it still be good information if they wore a white hood? And that's what makes you have to step back and go, oh, wow, maybe not. Why are we talking about that? Because sometimes we have to step back and make sure all of our information is good. All right. And that's true. That's true. Learning and growing helps in the fly. And not only that, when yeah, we already recovered that because now we're just repeating stuff. We got clowns. We got cows. So Spirit, do we have anything else? Would you like me to do a couple tarot cards, or have we covered it all? We gotta change. We gotta grow. You've got to do it in your own way, in your own garden. Because if you don't grow your own garden, you can't help your neighbor water their grass in their time of need when they need to grow their own. Something's going down at the high. Something's going on at the high school. I love hearing the high school from here. But yeah, so wow, that was a lot. So yeah, every tarot reader has their way. Every single person has their way. Just like with cosmetology, everybody has their way to achieve the exact same thing. And that's what it is here. Not everyone is just a tarot reader. Everybody encompasses it. Everybody does their thing. Oh, it was Witch and Scythe that made me realize that what I was doing was normal. I'm sitting there and I'm watching them and I'm like, that makes so much sense now. That just, because let's face it, once you know the thing you're doing is normal, that opens up the light and you can see and you can realize, oh, and then you start to backtrack and you realize, oh, this is why I was doing this is why this used to happen when I was little. Like, I get a lot of, I can tell a lot from music, books. Like, I can be reading a book and know that this is the line where this other book came from because it has this, like, it's just annoying sometimes. Like, when I listen to music, I can tell if it's about a true story because sometimes I can, like, see the events of the story. And there's a very particular song that, like, I just realized, like, in the past month, this, like, not that I didn't know, but it's like, you know, sometimes you're sitting there and you know about this one thing and then you realize, oh yeah, that is a thing I can do, because you finally have that little bit of faith right there because that faith like clinked in like a Lego. And then it makes you think about, oh my God, remember when Mom used to play this particular album, who I so love this artist, who I'm not going to name because I cannot hear that song. And it's the reason I haven't seen this person in concert, because this song is so upsetting. And I've always known the visions I've had when I've seen this song. It just didn't make any sense. And then I realized within the past 2 weeks, oh, wait a minute. That's because you had when this song would play on Mom's stereo, the rush of those spirits would come in to this clairvoyant child because they needed help. And it wasn't just the spirits, I was also seeing the events of the song being sung. And it would send me into my bedroom and I would be screaming at the top of my lungs. My mom's like, Martha, for the love of God, get a hold of yourself. And then the movie came out. And we're talking back in the 70s, people. So this is a long time ago. And that was horrific to watch. It was PG, for God's sakes. It was before PG. I mean, this movie probably should have been PG-13, okay? But that was before PG-13 was a thing. And I don't know what because I know my mom, probably, maybe she taught, I don't know. Either way, I think it was like after that movie, and I like launched into my bedroom like screaming into my pillow after that movie, and then Mom played this. I think like 2 and 2 like came together to make 4, and it was at that point that the song was always skipped over. Because if the song didn't skip over, I didn't launch into a meltdown, but I was melting down because so many spirits, because of that song, were coming to me, and I was seeing all the events that had happened. And not only because of the song was I seeing every event that happened, but all of these spirits were coming in showing me the events that happened and all of their terror. So it was just like 5 minutes of screaming of Martha who can't calm down because all of these spirits are rushing in. And this week, the past couple of weeks, I'm realizing, oh, that makes so much sense now. It just all makes so much sense now. What, I don't even know what that was about. So you learn and you grow and you reflect. And you have to change, because if you don't, you're just going to stay stagnant. You know, you're not going to know how to do the newest, latest updos. You're not going to know how to, you know, use the newest computer software and phones. And that's another thing. As you age, you need to keep doing that too, because I'll tell you, in the 80s, I could program a VCR like there's no tomorrow. I can barely use my phone today. I'm also not patient enough to the ADHD in my phone get me. But yeah, so nobody is just something. We are all like the encompassing of it. You know, I am a cosmetologist, not just a color specialist. Even if I was the best at balayage, I still wouldn't be a color specialist, because I can always grow and learn. There will always be something new coming out. There will always be a new gimmick to shut down. But you might have like an old car. White walls. Like a little hatchback. Looks like a really old, like 1940s car. I see it with siding. I see it one of those cars that could have siding, but like not a PT Cruiser, but like one from like the like a little trundle seat. Maybe is this a 1920s car? Oh yeah, there was a car. How soon I forgot. There was a car in my coffee cup. Yeah, because let's face it, once you do that hard thing, everything becomes easier, and you know, because sometimes you got to force your body to do that. Damn, that rounded back around, didn't it? Okay, so Spirit, is there anything else to say? Is there anything else you would like people to know? Other than you've got to do it your way. You've got to do it your way, and you have to make that choice to change and grow. In whatever profession you're at, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a cosmetologist, whether you're a clairvoyant, you have to know how to grow and change, and you also have to know when it's not that you're stopping. Okay, like with painting on highlights, it's not that I'm stopping learning. It's just I know I'm not good at that. So I'm not going to be the one that I'm going to allow someone to recommend the balayage to. I'm going to recommend someone to the best balayagist in the salon. Does that make sense? You've got to know yourself and what your strengths and weaknesses are so you can change and grow into the person you are, because those weaknesses may always be there. And if you are the master and you still have those weaknesses, it's that student who you need to listen to who can show you how to have that strength. Wow. Thank you. That was so much better put. Waves in the ocean. If you're going in the ocean, please be careful of the undertow or the waves. Please be careful of some, I don't know. What are those things where it's like all of a sudden they come up in the ocean and it's like, shit, I gotta get out of the water now before I die? Like stingrays, or not stingrays, or jellyfish. something like there might be some surprise thing like that coming. Jesus, you guys all got like hobbly gobbledygook now. Y'all crack me up, I'm telling you. All right, guys. So yeah, that's your message for today. Changing and growing and doing it your way, and changing when you're young, changing as you grow, changing as you go. And if you reach 53 and you realize you did not change as you grow, this is not too late. You can start right now. It's gonna suck a little harder, but the moment you put your pride aside and you realize, okay, I can't do a foil highlight and I really need to learn how to do a foil, then you learn how to do it. I learned how to do an ombre because I went on YouTube and looked, and I found the one that looked right in my eyes. Because it does have to, like I say, there are a million ways to do the same thing. Everybody has their way to do it and achieve the same exact thing. You just have to find your way to do it. You're doing it your way. You're going on your own path. You're taking your own car and you're going along. Okay? And this car is a car you fixed up on your own. And you know how to fix that car up. Oh, interesting. That leads us into life as a highway, doesn't it? That leads us into life as a highway of different ascensions. Yeah, I think I covered that one time. Oh, yeah. That's a good put together. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, 111:40 on the timer. 111 new beginnings. Yep. A lot of new beginnings. And that's what this is. Making this choice to realize you need to learn and grow and change is a new beginning. Making this choice, release the throat chakra, I'm going to burp again. Doing this allows for that growth and change and allows you to do it your way. Because there are lots of new beginnings. Like, you can be a jack of all trades and master of none, but there's always new beginnings around the corner. There are always new things that you can see. There are always new things that you can do or try and experience. And if you dip a toe in and you're like, yeah, that's not quite my thing, it's always okay to dip your toe back out. And it's always okay to go to the thing that you like. It's also okay not to have 53 different things that you want to try and only 2 that you actually do because you don't like the other, 51. Take your time, Spirit says. Take your time. You have all the time in the world. Just lay me down. I have that Hootie and the Blowfish song in my head. I think it's called Control. I'm also seeing the numbers 411. And 3s might be important. Okay, I think we're done. I think there's definitely another reading, but I think this one is done. All right. Thank you for joining, everybody. I truly appreciate you all. I see. That things just couldn't be the same. That things just. So I must lay me down. I don't remember what song that is. That's Hootie and the Blowfish. So that line of that song might mean something to someone. I see that things just couldn't be the same. So I must lay me down, which means that sometimes you just need a rest. Sometimes you have to lay down and have a rest and have a wee bit of a meditation, not a cocoon, but a meditation to realize this is the direction that you need to go, you know, to realize these are directions that you need to go in, because these are new directions. 111, remember? These are new directions, and choosing to do new directions and grow, those are really, really hard things. Those are really, really hard things to do and achieve. So, you know, but you can. You can. But you have to be the first one to make that choice. And a car going down the road. All right, Spirit. All right, everybody, I think we're done. And thank you for joining my atmosphere in the cafeteria. And I hope that you will all have a wonderful day. And remember, be good, behave, be happy, and be yourself. And take care now.